working on getting, updated software for this so that we don't have stuff like this,
And they are, they're making leaps and bounds towards that. Every time we go back and report it, we've found another little something, or it could be like a firmware change or something. Just happens to be on this WinPOS version that we're putting out. They still have kind of missed that there. So if you see some of that, feel free to let myself or Stefan know, and we're just trying to kind of weed those out.
So what you do here is just enter the date, and like Stefan was saying, it's another thing we're working on too is they're still using a European format, so the day and the month are switched.
Right now, there's no way to change that.
How did we get here? Which button?
Lost ticket button, yeah. So you just enter the day, month, year, and then the time, and then enter, and then they'll give you your
Time
key.
military, right?
Yeah.
4 p.m.
Yeah. So we go back a little bit. Let's go. Back to 7. So, and then you can just hit paid, and then it'll ask you to insert a blank ticket, so that way you have a record of that.
What if, for instance, the date thing, they're doing it and they think, oh, they put it in wrong, and then they do it and they see this tremendous amount of money that they owe, and it's like, oh, can you go back and change your mistakes?
Yes. Well, so if you put it in wrong,
Like if they put 10-5 instead of 5-10?
yes, if you put 10:05, you'll kind of know because when you hit enter, it's going
Yeah,
to
you see a large, yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. But you can go back and redo it.
Yeah, you can just hit cancel.
Okay.
Yeah, that way you don't, screw your reports up. Yeah. And the other thing I was telling you about replacement tickets. So somebody comes up with a ticket and you put it in and won't read it, or the barcode's damaged, it's crumpled up, or whatever. You can just hit replacement ticket here, and the serial number is on the ticket itself. It's in that same exact format. It's 2 digits, 3 digits. I think it's 10 digits. 10, yeah. So you just enter all those, and then it'll look up the ticket, and then give you the fee that's associated with the ticket.
These are thermal tickets, and they, how they put them in your mouths.
Yeah.
So they will be heated.
Yeah.
Destroy the barcode.
Well, some of them too, like it won't be so bad here, but some of our surface slots we have, people leave the tickets on the dash, for 3, 4, 5 days at a time, and they'll get burnt. So we have a problem with that too. But in the parking deck, it's not an issue really. What else, Chris?
Okay, so let's talk about a special rate, just so we have an idea. I don't think currently in the system right now it's been addressed or we've programmed
We
anything.
do have one.
But let me ask you this way, what in a federal APD system, they used to be like merchant validations or account validations. What are you using now? Like you have an A key, a B key?
Yeah, we have one.
How many keys are you using? How many validations?
Right now, just one, and that
Okay.
would be market authority.
Market
Right now.
authority.
But, with fall field coming, and I don't know how we'll deal with merchants and stuff from that yet.
They have
The ball
a
field.
whole bunch down there too. DBU. Yeah, so I don't know what they want to use that for. But they have one.
So the BDU would have like one configuration.
Yeah,
So it'd be good for one account.
Yeah.
One territory.
That may be something they can use for that.
And where is that house?
It's installed.
So what Jack was telling me is that I guess with this particular project, you guys purchased a BDU, I believe, which is it's like a hole punch validator, validator in a sense, but it's like a rate change device. So I guess this device could be deployed somewhere, and I don't know if it would fit the scenario you're talking about, like a ballpark or something, but if people are taking their tickets somewhere and they want to basically acquire some kind of a validation on those tickets, then they could go up there, it stamps it, and then when they come back and use it, it'll automatically detect the account and then charge a rate based on that. So it could be a special rate, a reduced rate. It could just be a zero amount, which effectively would be like a full validation. So you do have one of those. It's not configured or set up yet. It's still in your storage. So if you wanted to use that for something, now this other A key that we're talking about, like for the merchant authority, I think we could probably effectively accomplish the same thing with a special rate. But as you're looking at doing other things, keep in mind you already have one of these devices and it's not currently being used. So if there was somewhere that people were taking, had to pass through, like an office or whatever, and they had their parking ticket with them, they could stamp that, and then when they went to leave, that could be their method of validation, whether it's zero amount or reduced rate or whatever. But that unit would be deployed wherever those patrons are visiting, so they could stamp it. So you could have one at the front desk here, and when people came here, they get it stamped. So if you want to use that one somewhere, or you want to get some more of them, deploy them. But I think, one of the important things to keep in mind is wherever those patrons are visiting, that's where that unit would be deployed so that they could acquire that stamp. And they have to make sure they take the ticket with them, else it won't get stamped, So, but for right now, if you just have like the one key for merchant authority, we were thinking probably we could do special rate. We'll have to set that up. It takes a little bit of configuration. But if we do the special rate, then what the attendants would do would be they put the ticket in, and it's going to ask for the amount of money based on whatever's on the ticket. Maybe it's $10, and then they could do a special rate, and then you have these 9 keys, so 0 through 9. So you have 10 keys, and so you could do special rate 0, and that could be just make the ticket a 0 amount, something like that, and then that way it'll show in the reports as well. So right now, to accomplish the same thing that you might have been doing with your previous system for some kind of account validation, we have the 10 keys that are here, and we would just program them to do special rate, and then whichever key, and each one of these could just zero that ticket out, and then it will reflect the kind of like the account it was bound to. Effectively do the same thing. It'll reduce that rate. It'll make it a 0 amount. The person can leave. The ticket's marked. It'll show up on the report that the special rate of 0 is used, and you'll just know that the 0 special rate is your merchant authority, market authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, like they come out and they've been in there and charged them $225. We were charging that $225 validation billing them for it. So.
Now, how do y'all run, like, service vehicles and things that come through, city vehicles that pass through that don't have cards? Would you run them through that, or are you gonna want a special?
No, they actually, they're paying it unless they're city vehicles, that's another thing we need to have F2 ticket, but we call it F2 ticket. Zero out a ticket, like the city vehicles coming in and out, doing the work in the parking deck, and they don't have cards to get in and out, so they will come up and give us a
So they might do
ticket.
that.
We may have to do it.
And we
Do
would
that
have to,
same way.
get the gate up to let them out,
Yeah,
and
that might
without
be
charging
another
them.
use for that.
That
Yeah.
zero machine may need to be in their office, the machine you're just talking about. Is that where it needs to be so they can use city tickets that way?
Yeah, they use that for,
Yeah, the one that you said we're not using, if
Yeah.
it was in there, the personnel could go in there and hand it to her, she can zero it out, then he goes out and hands it to somebody.
Or we could just set up a special rate and then a special rate 1 for that person, and it's valid.
Like for the city vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the fire department.
And you could divide it up and it would show up
Yeah,
separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would kind of depend on if there's an attendant, if there's going to be an attendant out there in the booth that could actually hit the special rate and then whatever. Now, it sounds like the market authority, when you guys have the market going on, there's going to be an attendant there. So
Yeah.
they'll be able to do a special rate 0 and effectively cancel out that ticket. Now, if other times when there's not somebody in the booth, the special rate's not going to work because there's nobody in the booth to hit it. In that case, if you had the office set up with that BDU,
Yeah.
that would be ideal so that personnel could go there, have it stamped, and then, I don't know if they have exit
They got a van
machines.
line downstairs. yeah.
Pan lane. So you have the automated lanes, and then they could just use those and go right out. So if we're talking about something for 365 within the year, if you don't always have somebody out there, then what you said is probably right on par. I mean, this would probably be easier for us to set up, but I like that because it doesn't sound like you always have attendance out there.
No, we don't.
Okay. So it sounds like so far we need to do a combination of a market authority, a special rate 0, and then we also need to program that BDU up for like personnel, service personnel. maybe if Stefan comes through and does something too, he needs to get his ticket stamped or
Yeah.
whatever,
Well,
you know, if I
about,
come,
you know,
whatever.
It just, I mean, can we just go out there and open the gate and let them out as they
You
come out?
can do that too. We actually wired up toggle switches on all the booths too.
Yeah.
That you can just pop the gate with.
Back, so you can manually.
Oh, we do have a switch where we
Yeah.
can
Well,
open the
yeah, we
gate.
went through and did those at all the gates.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that.
So you just pop the gate. and
Don't
you
have
let
to
somebody
get
out.
wet.
Yeah,
Does it
But
show
they would
it
have
in
a
the
ticket
reports?
that's unaccounted for.
No, that's the only thing.
yeah.
So, yeah, so you lose that in the
Yeah.
reports.
But
You
then we
lose
can
the
let
ticket.
them on out, but then still go back and do their ticket after we let them out and just get them on their way, or?
I don't know, can you do it afterwards? I
Uh,
mean, you could just run
Seems
some
like it'd
ticket,
be-
you have to simulate.
We're gonna have a
loops.
lot of
Yeah.
tickets unaccounted for anyway.
It would be easier to have the thing in the office and let them go in there and stamp it
Yeah.
and then go, otherwise you're losing tickets.
I would agree. I mean, if
I mean,
you've
that's
got
what I
a
think.
lot of personnel you're trying to let out or something like that, then maybe just
Yeah.
for customer convenience or service, you know, you do something like that. But for like, you know, onesies,
Yeah.
twosies for sure.
We probably need to get out of the habit of just opening the gate and let people in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we will, Teresa wants the gates open at a certain time every evening, so you will have people coming in, pulling tickets, that those tickets aren't gonna be accounted for, because they're not gonna put them anywhere that we can get them the next day or whatever.
Right.
And I think right now, she still wants the gates open on the weekends. So those is there a way we can turn the ticket spitters off so that it don't even issue a ticket and they can just do a rotation freely so that we don't lose those, you know, have those tickets unaccounted for that they're taking home?
I tell you what, when we get to that aspect, because that'll be in the software part, so that'll be later today, we'll go back and address that.
Okay.
With the Signa system setting up, like your automated gates and things to raise, it's a little more complex. Usually you leave that to us to do, and we're more than happy to do that. We'll go in there and set those up for you or do whatever. There might be a way that we can disable something in the process of doing that, but we'll take a look at that in a little more detail. But as far as here with the attendant portion, that might get a little bit confusing for them, so if it's okay, we'll just save that for a little
Yeah,
later.
we
Yeah,
have,
because isn't it on certain programs you can go in and enable and disable the ticket spitters?
Certain programs, yes. The Signa,
Carol's talking about the event control.
I know.
It's
And
different.
I already told Carol earlier, federal APD, I love it.
Yeah, we can
Love
just,
it.
we can disable it.
So, if we're doing like the SQL macros, is there something in there that would disable at the same time? So even though the gate might be in an up position, it doesn't issue it?
Yeah, so that's what, it's set up like that. So it raises the gate, disables the machine.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
like what you were showing me that day about turning the service out and all.
Yeah. So the macro we use to raise the gates, it'll raise the gate, and then it also puts the terminal and the gate out of service, so that it won't go down, and also nobody can pull a ticket or anything like that.
Now, what is she talking about raising the gates
Like
during the market at
Harry
night?
leaves, like in off times, we know we're not gonna get really busy until the fall season. There's no, and to prevent, poor little me, from somebody getting locked in the parking deck, multiple times, in the middle of the night, whatever, we want to have the gates up, so like not long after he leaves.
Or if they go home during the market and like they stay there, say to 11, and some of these people party, maybe there's somebody in there at 2 a.m. Well, we're not manning it always
Okay.
till the last car. So we raise the gate and you just let them go.
Okay.
But they will have tickets in their hands.
We
that
don't-
won't account for.
We don't have enough business to man the gates all the time. That's why we don't man the gates.
We're happy for that in
Yeah.
all parts of it. And then, like I said, the weekends right now, but we do have little mini markets where we'll have to adjust that again.
All right, well, we'll definitely go over that. We'll get an idea of what times you're doing now, and what times you're doing outside the market, and we'll come up with a strategy on getting those into the system. We'll talk about that this afternoon.
That's fine.
So, I guess where we're at now with the attendant portion, operating the WinOps. We have the basic operation, an understanding of how to process the lost tickets. We're going to do those with the variable date and time entry as it is now. If you need something to hit that 24-hour mark or whatever, we'll just go back 24 hours and then we can do that effectively. kind of creating that flat fee. And then you also have the ability to do a replacement ticket. And I don't know if it was really stated in there, but replacement ticket might be like if the ticket's so crumpled up or got wet or something like that, and it's hard, the barcode won't read on it, because you guys have the barcode system. The barcode won't read, then if you can still read that serial number off of it, you know, you can put that in there and it'll calculate or compute the fee based on that.
So what if they have like dropped it or, you know, and it got something that you can't even read it?
If you can't even read it, you're gonna have to go back to doing a lost ticket, yeah. I mean, you might still be able to, maybe you can't read the serial number, but you can still read the date and time on there. If you can't read anything at all on there and the system can't read it, it'll just be going back to whatever you typically did with the variable date entry. Credit card operation, a little bit of a difference now versus when you guys go live with your new credit card terminals, and then we'll just use that token key to distinguish those transactions from the regular cash. And we will take note and configure the special rate to be that market authority. So you'll put the ticket in, it's going to come up with whatever fee on there, and you hit special rate 0, and it's just going to cancel it out. It'll become a 0 ticket. You'll hit the enter or the paid receipt, and it'll go ahead and you'll pull the ticket out, and it'll just become normal. But it'll just
But it'll show that their ticket was $2.25 on the
Yeah.
report,
It will
right?
show in the reports.
Yeah.
And it's not going to say the market authority, but it will say like the special rate 0, or the special 0. I can't remember
So
exactly.
it'll have the number of that merchant that we're giving that special rate.
Last time I looked at it, if I'm not mistaken, it has the number of transactions that was affiliated with, as well as the total amount of the change that was there, yeah. We recently set that up for a hospital up.
How do you know who
which
those
is why it's
people are?
kind of
We
fresh.
just have one right now, property card.
How you know who the people are?
They have a stamp that they stamp their ticket.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure you end up telling
Yeah,
some
they
people like Steve.
have a stamp that they come out and stamp market authority on. I just hope they don't stamp the market